There are at least 5 fires raging right now. On Friday, President Biden and VP Harris were briefed on the relief efforts, and it came one day after the president made a promise to LA officials and residents that the federal government will cover all of the costs of the initial disaster response. In the meantime, President-elect Trump wasting no time in criticizing the government response, mentioning that some fire hydrants ran dry because of water distribution in the state.
The hydrants were empty. They didn't have any water.
Give me a break.
California Governor Gavin Newsom responding to the reports that some hydrants failed by announcing an independent investigation to determine what happened. And Governor Newsom also doubling California National Guard deployment to fight these fires. We do want to get right out to News Nation's Nancy Liu, who is live for us on the ground. Nancy, what are you seeing tonight?
Oh, we're seeing a very aggressive firefight because the winds are lighter, and that is allowing for an air attack. Very aggressive today. We're on the southern flank of the Palisades fire, and I want to step out of the way so you can see that it is there off in that canyon. And all day today, we've been seeing all kinds of aircraft coming through, dropping retardant, dropping water, but you can see that there are still flames there in the brush. And for the most part, that is brushy area, but the fight is to protect it from getting over here. This is Brentwood. And as you mentioned, not far away, the Getty Center, UCLA, where students have been warned, they are aware. Many have not evacuated yet, but they have switched to remote learning until January 17th at least. And all over LA, there is a haze. There is smoke in the air. There are pockets of blue, but it smells like fire. There is ash falling all over the place, and there are few people who are not impacted in some way by what's happened here. The devastation is so widespread, Natasha.
Yeah, and Nancy, you've been on the ground covering these devastating fires all week long. I vividly remember your coverage of the Maui fires as well. I'm from Northern California. I really remember the Napa fires. It is hard to explain how different this devastation is compared to something like storm surge, when everything is gone, everything is incinerated. What is on your heart tonight? What are you remembering from the last several days of being on the ground, seeing these stories?
Just listening to the heartbreak of people and feeling helpless, really. The people who've been able to get back to their homes, who are just desperate to find something. A lot are returning to just rubble. And I've watched many residents digging through the rubble, hoping to find something that they can save. Yesterday in particular, I believe we have some video of firefighters digging through rubble because they were helping a particular family. They were just passing by, and they helped a family to find some heirlooms. And when they finally got to them, they were just like dust, they were ash, and it's just not worth it. What's really stuck with me, Natasha, is talking with firefighters, and many of them apologizing to residents, saying, we did as much as we could with what we had. You know, the water situation, there was no water in Pacific Palisades, and they wanted residents to know that, you know, they did as much as they could to save as much as they could. But Pacific Palisades really is a wasteland. Altadena, where I was yesterday, I mean, much of that a wasteland. And, you know, I'm also struck by the downtown strips. You know, they look like so many downtowns in America with, you know, a market, a nail salon, and a hardware store. They're all gone. The banks, it really hits you that, you know, communities have been wiped out. It's just thoroughly heartbreaking.
And Nancy,
Natasha.
I'm so glad you bring up Altadena, because I think we hear about many of the multi-million-dollar homes that are threatened tonight. I know LeBron James's home is being watched. Arnold Schwarzenegger's home is being watched. And I know many viewers may think that these are such affluent areas that people will be fine. But if we look more closely at some of the deaths that we have confirmed coming in tonight, many of them are in that community you mentioned, which is near Pasadena. It is home to working and middle-class families. And 2 deaths in particular, you know, a man and his son, a 67-year-old amputee father, this man in his 20s who had cerebral palsy. And that father was reportedly found by the bedside of his son. They were both still waiting for an ambulance. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.